right, everybody, what's up? It's Video Rot, episode number 43. What's going on? For those of you waiting in the stream, sorry to keep you waiting, but that is a good reminder for everybody that's not in the stream and watching this in post that you can join us usually every Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central Time, roughly. Sometimes we switch it to Thursday, like today, but I'm glad we did because Tuesday we wouldn't have had the news that
Yeah.
we could talk about. But before we get into all that, let's just kind of shoot the breeze. Let's ask our buddy Riverman what's new. And before we started recording, he was telling me about a woodpecker problem, and I wanted to comment on it.
Yeah,
Preface
so we
this.
we have a pest problem here, woodpecker, and I have a pest guy. So they come like or come 6 times a year, something like that here, and spray a bunch of shit. Where I live, we don't have like it's not down in Arizona. We don't have the scorpions or anything like that. We mostly have spiders and um, ticks and all that other shit. So, but now we started getting woodpeckers, and coming to find out, woodpeckers are on the protected list, so you can't kill them, or you get thrown in jail, or you get a huge fine. So I've been having issues trying to deter woodpeckers for the past week, man. And basically, what they're doing is they're pecking through my siding, and they're making a hole because they want to come into my attic. And I know I don't have any bugs or anything like that because I have a bug guy. They spray it, they check for termites, all that stuff. So basically, they're just looking to burrow and lay eggs
Well,
or something.
I don't think that's what they
So
want to do at all. I mean, because I've been dealing with in this new house or the house I've had 2 years now. It's been a problem, and you know what? Knock on wood, pun intended. I feel like I finally got rid of this one thing, and it's the same one, right? And he came back 2 seasons in a row, but he hasn't showed up in a while. So I think they're just, pardon my French, I think they're, well, I just think they're slow. I think they're mentally challenged because the only reason they're pecking is they literally think it's a tree. And the only reason they go into trees is to look for grubs and food.
yeah, yeah.
So that's it. I don't think they're trying to make a nest. I don't think they do. I think they're
Maybe he
stupid.
is. Yeah, maybe they're
No,
just stupid.
that's what my researchers told me. So like
Okay.
us, we've had at first it was attacking our stucco because I live in Arizona and all the houses are stucco
Yeah, yeah.
at the front of my house. And then like where you see my roof begin and stuff like that in Arch, you didn't see it when you were here last time, but last
No.
year giant, we went on vacation. When we went to Florida for a week, we came back and that thing just ran amok. And there was like big holes
Hmm.
all over the front of the house. So luckily for me, stucco is easy to repair. I just don't like the heights, but you could buy the stucco and you could paint it, no big deal, and fix it. Now the problem the past year and a half is in the back of the house. We have like this little emblem, just like it's for decoration, like a Spanish emblem at the very, very tip top of the roof.
Yeah.
That is made of wood. And
Hmm.
he is just up there and he'll always be, and I always hear him. Now, we tried everything. I've tried the owls.
Yep, I have one.
I've
Doesn't work.
tried the fake owls. I've tried the reflective mirror
Paper.
owls.
I
I've
try
tried
to select paper. Yeah.
I've tried the spikes. We've tried everything, and they don't work. None of it
Hmm.
works. And the people that market that stuff, they're just laughing their way to the bank because when I Google stuff, people are like the same way. You go on Nextdoor app, like, yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, none of it works. And they're technically endangered, right? So you're not supposed to kill them, but I got to the point where it's like I don't give a shit. Dude, my brother came over and I had a pellet gun. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna turn around. You want to do something? I don't know about it. Seriously, because this thing, it mainly was right outside of our bedroom bathroom window,
Yeah.
and so it would wake you up in the morning, and it's
Oh
all
yeah.
morning long, and it'd keep you up. And there's like an episode of Home Improvement that makes you laugh where they have a woodpecker, and it's the same thing, and I can relate. Anyway, what we would do is literally I just dealt with it. Since nothing was every time I would hear that thing every morning, I would go to that little bathroom window and I'd bang on the window and make
Hmm.
it fly away.
We
And
spray with a hose. Yeah.
no, we can't spray it with a hose. I never could.
It
I don't
doesn't
know.
work. They come back.
Well, no. So I would just have to bang on it and it would go away. And it'd be back either that day or the next day. And I just stuck with it. And now it's finally gone. I'm like, I'm just gonna have to keep doing this until it dies. And when winter came last year, I was like, awesome, it's winter. It went away. And maybe it just won't come back. sure enough, spring rolled around. It came back. Like literally, it went
Yeah.
somewhere else for the winter and it came back. But it didn't come back for long, and I just did the same stuff, man. Banging on that window, running it off, and it just stopped. It just stopped showing up. It's like eventually it's got to find someone else's house. And
You would hope.
I've had everybody in the neighborhood. That fucking neighbor of mine that made the jokes, the asshole.
Mhm.
Dude, this guy annoys me. He even sent me a picture one morning of my backyard. He took a picture of my roof in the back where it was chipping away, and he texted me and he's like, "Hey, seems like you got yourself a little friend." Of course, I fucking
Oh
know I do.
God, that
And he's
drive me
like,
nuts,
and he
dude.
zoomed in on it. It's hilarious because it seems like he only likes your house. I'm like, I'm gonna kill you, stupid motherfucker, dude. And it's just true. But yeah, I mean, I just stuck with it. I just annoyed it. It's just a game of chicken. I'm just keep banging on the window, make it fly away, and every time I wouldn't let it get started. I like that thing
Mhm.
is just drive it crazy, and every time it comes back, drive it crazy. Make it to like eventually you're gonna win. I think if you're not
So
letting it do its thing, you're slapping that window or whatever, causing a ruckus. I don't know how close it is.
we
I
do
would
that
think,
every time, but
yeah. Well, ours is luckily it was right by this window, like right by it. But the window is too small where I don't feel comfortable going out of it to like I don't know, do something to it. But yeah, it's right there. So I just slap that window and just stay
so
on it, man.
ours is in between our bedroom and then the spare bedroom. So my wife works in the spare bedroom, and of course we sleep in the bedroom. So he gets us up at 6 a.m. This fucking pecker, and then of course we pound on the walls. We shoot him with garden hoses. We hung streamers up, and that worked for maybe a day. And then some of my neighbors tell me he's like, put up CDs or whatever. So like we haven't done that yet, but I called the pest guy and he's putting in the basically he's redoing our siding, some of our siding because it's just torched, man. It's just man, it's bad.
I don't know why it would try and do it to siding. That's ridiculous. But
What?
but
Well,
there
it's wood siding. It's not vinyl.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So it thinks it's a tree.
that's even worse. So it's like at least for us, stucco's easy to repair. But this, I'll show you when you come out here. The emblem, it's got this emblem. I couldn't tell what he was. I knew he was next to this window up high, but I'm like, what is he doing? I thought, and then I just noticed like last month. I'm like, I had to squint. I'm like, that's what he's doing. And you'll see this emblem when I show it. I mean, you'd have to be like shown to notice it.
Yeah.
But now I notice it all the time because I've realized it. But yeah, it's got these holes in there, and I don't. It doesn't look like he's done enough damage to where it's worth repairing. But I'm not going to go all the way up there and fix it. But
Well, we have like two or three. So I mean, it's terrible, dude.
I'm telling you, just you have a whole family of them.
I have two or three of them that come. They're different kinds of woodpecker. I think there's
I'll,
multiple different types.
I think it's just the one, and I'll drive through the neighborhood, and like I haven't seen it in a long time, but like one of the houses leaving my neighborhood on the main road, I see where they've got the holes in the side. Like, oh, good, it's their problem now. It's moved
Oh
on.
God, I wish, man.
Yeah, I
Wish
know
we could.
you don't want to think the worst, but like I just wanted to move on. It's somebody else's turn. It's like that whole thing.
Yes.
I feel
Yeah.
like I did my time. I feel like I did a year and a half of dealing with this fucking thing, and it's like, look, let it. I wanted to go to the neighbor that's an asshole that talks shit. That'd be hilarious. But
Well, and this thing is going to cost me like $300. I mean, I can't. The thing about it, he's doing it like 30 feet in the air, so I don't have I don't have an extension ladder that high.
yeah,
So like it's man,
well,
I get somebody to come on do it for me.
mine. You see my house. Mine was doing it at the very tip top, where the tip top of the roof, where there's an emblem. So it's
Oh yeah,
really
yeah.
high. It's really high, and I do have a ladder that will kind of get up there, but I'm scared shitless. I can't do heights. I don't like it. It wasn't so bad at the front of the house, but in the back, that's why I'm like, he hasn't come back. The damage isn't like, it's fine. I'm not gonna fuck with it. But
Yeah.
I just don't like it. My mom is in the chat. She wanted me to wear the shirt she got me. It's a Camp on Awana shirt, and I have to say I'm very proud that I gave none of this money to Michael Bauer because he shills this unofficial merchandise
He would
on
have
his
signed
own.
it for you, man.
He shills Camp on Awana Sleet Your Short merch unofficial on his website and stuff for money. And yeah, I just want him to know, like, hey, look, I gave this to big corporation. My mom bought this from Old Navy. You got none of this money, Michael Bauer. You
I
know,
still like his channel though, man. That toilet taco episode was classic, man.
it's just like low. It's the
It's
lowest
disgusting,
brow,
dude.
dude.
It's so gross.
It's terrible. It's just I don't know. it's like I said, it's just the lowest common denominator stuff. I can't abide.
It's entertaining though, at least, right?
All right, now let's talk about some news. Unless before you want to talk about something you've acquired, you've got a couple
Yeah,
of
I
things.
can I can kind of go through that.
All right.
So I did get a few movies this past week. I got a sale for this one. I didn't have this one. This was $10, and I didn't have it on 4K. It's the Blade Runner 4K.
Yeah, that's one that you can. I got that one on the cheap too
Yeah,
last year. That one
I was
was on
waiting until it
sale.
went down. Yeah, for $10. The other one we've already watched it 3 times. It's my kid's favorite movie, of course now, and of course it's Mario movie.
Yeah,
And
we
it's a
I
good
saw
movie.
that.
It's entertaining. I love how it's only like 89 minutes. It's quick. You
I
get through it so fast every
yeah.
time. You can
I
watch it
like.
multiple times.
They were making such a big deal. They were making articles about that, about like, wow, it's such a short runtime. Like this is the way animated
It's a
movies always
perfect.
were. No, but
Yeah,
animated movies were always shorter than like main
yeah.
features,
Hmm.
and now it's like animated movies have to be 2 hours, and so they were making a big deal, like, oh, it's a brisk 90 minutes or whatever. I'm like, no, they should not exceed 90 minutes. They should be 80 minutes.
We don't
You
need
know,
their
they
backstory and all that shit. We already know the characters.
and I don't understand. I saw that movie, and I don't understand. I don't understand. I love Mario, man. I grew up with that stuff. I don't understand like all the man children now. I mean, I'm kind of a man child, but everybody is like sucking off this movie like it's great. And I'm sorry, the movie's not good. It's not. It's
It's
it
it's very well. It's great for kids, and
it's a it's
it's very nostalgic.
it that but
Um,
that's it. That's the only thing
yeah,
that all these adults are grasping onto is like, oh, look at the remember that, remember that, remember that. But other than that, a kid has to like it because there's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's just, hey, remember this sound bit? Remember this tune? Oh, we're throwing that in there. That's kind of all it is. I think a really good kids movie is going to also subliminally even appeal to adults. It's gonna be witty. It's gonna have something for everybody.
that's why I
Um,
love this movie. Yeah,
but the Mario
absolutely.
movie doesn't. I say that's where we're
I
disagreeing.
think it does, man.
What does it have?
I think
I'm
it has
challenging you.
the nostalgic factor. There's a few scenes. I love the Rainbow Road scene. I love the end fight scene, and I love the obstacle course scene where he's training. I loved all those, man. It looks beautiful,
But
man. It looks amazing.
if you remove that, like when they have a sequel and
I'm
you've
not
gotten that
going. I'm not going
it
in it for a freaking storyline. That's what I
if
hate. All these man children, they care way too much about Mario. I like
no,
Mario
they
enough.
fucking love it. No, they act like, oh, like it
No,
was made for them. I'm
there's some
sorry.
people that are, but
I'm
there's
gonna
some.
say it. The movie is not good. It's bad.
It's
It's not even a good kids movie.
oh, you're
It
crazy, dude. You're
no, it's
crazy. It's
okay.
an awesome
It's
kids movie.
look, it's an okay kids movie, but the thing is a great kids movie is going to
What's a great kids movie
I think a great kid well if okay, I'll give you two examples.
nowadays? Here in
I'll give you two examples.
2020 whatever
And
3
I'm
or
not going to give a pass to for these days standards, but I'll give you one for
no,
today's
that's what you
standards.
got to.
I'll
Okay,
give you one for today's standards, and
okay.
then I'll give you one for all time. Because I'm sorry, I think that's a crutch. Well, like, well, by today's standards, no.
For kids movies, it
Just
is.
because stuff is shit today does not give it a pass. But anyway, as far as today's standards, I thought Puss in Boots: The Last Wish way better. No, seriously. That is a movie because it's got the kid appeal, it's got the cute characters, it's got the humor, but the story at the core of it, it's literally about a midlife crisis and it's about mortality. And it's just like, Puss has got 9 lives and he's been brave. And now he realizes he's down to his last life and he's having a total existential crisis and he's slipping away into depression. Dude, it's heavy. And when you watch a movie
That's
like
yeah.
that,
That's
no,
not a kids movie.
no, it is. It is because no, listen, the adults are picking up on this stuff, and the kid, it's not shoving that stuff in the kid's face. The kids are only going to pick up on part of it, right? Because they're not experienced to certain things. But that other stuff that is heady is for the adults that have to watch it.
You're still thinking as an adult. You're talking about Puss in Boots, a character nobody gives a fuck about from Shrek. Nobody gives a fuck about.
Listen.
And
I'm
you're talking
saying
about the most
that
iconic character
that's
in video game history having his
that's
own movie. Finally,
look, but that is what I'm saying.
yes, that's
That's what
what
makes
kids love it,
no,
man.
that's what makes a good kids movie is something that has cross appeal. You got to think about the okay, so I'm gonna go back in time, and we're not gonna talk about animated, but the greatest kids movie of all time is TMNT 90. I've talked about it all the time, but it is because it appeals
Kids
to
don't like
everybody.
that shit now. My kid wouldn't watch that in a second, man.
Your
He would
kids need to
not.
get culture, Todd. I don't know what to say. Like,
No,
I
they
get
think
it.
it looks old and outdated. That's the way kids are, man. You
But
can't blame them.
it
We thought
does
the same shit,
it doesn't matter. They could no. I watched a lot of I watched shit from my mom.
We're
I
the
watched Wizard of
exception.
Oz.
Why do you think we? Why
I
do you
grew
think
up
we have
on
a
Wizard of
podcast?
Oz.
Why
Wizard
do
of
you think we have a
Oz is
podcast? We're the exception,
listen.
man. We have a
Okay,
movie.
well, guess what? Let's modernize Turtles then. Forget it. You can make the same movie. Let's say they made it today. It's the same thing applies. You're focusing too much on the aesthetic, but story wise, okay. So it's for kids because it was capitalizing on a phenomenon. It's the Ninja Turtles for crying out loud, right? It's got the stuff that kids want to see. It's got totally tubular. They're eating pizza. They're fighting karate. Yeah, all that great stuff. But at the end of it, it's a story about like family and separation and a fractured brotherhood and all this crazy stuff. It and as if you want to go into aesthetic, it looks like a Scorsese movie. If you took like certain screenshots of New York, the grain is how like sleazy and dirty that New York looks. It's great. It could be like a Scorsese movie if you didn't know any different. To me, that's an absolute perfect flick as far as cross appeal and
But
hitting
you think it's cross appeal, but it's not. I guarantee you, your mom didn't like that shit, and she probably took you to see the.
Challenger.
Okay,
She likes
Denise,
it.
did you like it at the time, or did you just take him just to shut him up?
My mom likes the Mortal Kombat movie, dude. Are you kidding me? Like
I don't know. I go into movies with no expectation. I'll watch a kids movie if it's 90 minutes. It doesn't even need to entertain me that much. I just want to turn my brain off for 90 minutes. That's the type of kids movie that I want. Like I want to like it enough. I'm
it
not going in for like, oh, I gotta love
look,
this,
it
or
did
the
it scratched
storyline is
it
great. I don't care about
scratched
any of
your
that shit.
itch. It scratched your itch because it gave you those temporary member berries. But I'm
Yeah,
just saying that's not going to go very far when you get through a sequel. I was rolling my eyes the whole time. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I know the Doom Ship theme, or I know that thing. I know, okay, great. Oh, there's that. Oh, is that. It was just,
because it's not a movie for you. It's a movie for kids.
yes, exactly. But I'm telling you, the best
But I
kind of
can still
kids
enjoy
movies,
it.
but the best kind of kids movies go beyond that. There's layers. I'm just saying it's not the best type of kids movie. It was very shallow because don't act like there's not kids movies that go deeper than that. There's, and you're gonna play the but dated. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna be that guy. They made better shit then back in the day.
They did absolutely. Not everything's
Dude,
like
Nightmare Before Christmas
it.
is a
Yeah,
way better kids movie, and you can't tell me that's not
I agree.
timeless. A kid would still love Nightmare Before Christmas today. Nobody does stop motion anymore, but it's still animation and it's still awesome. I challenge any kid to say no, that's not cool.
And the thing about this is, I mean, they don't go into like all the woke political bullshit in the kids movies. I mean, it's just straight to the point. It's Mario. You know
No, that's
Mario. He
fine.
saves the princess. It's like that's perfect. Give me 90 minutes of that crap, and the kids will love it.
All I'm saying is
And it looks
this is
beautiful. That's all I cared
yeah, it
about. It
looks
looked
great.
awesome.
It looks great. The story is literally it doesn't waste any time, which is good for the parent, I guess. But I'm just saying, Bowser is in love with the princess, wants to capture princess. Mario gets sucked into Mushroom Kingdom,
Yeah.
has to stop Bowser. That's really it. There's nothing to
What
it.
more do you need? You don't need anything else.
I'm just saying, after the second time watching that with my kid, I would be like, kill me. But
Oh, I'm not saying I want to watch it more and more, but he does, and I can tolerate it because it's not like some other bullshit I need to watch. So
that's
it's
right,
Mario.
Silhouette. Mendoza, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is a better kids movie. And Silhouette, they were in those Cheerios all along. Absolutely. That was imaginative. That was inventive. I don't know. Call me old, but dude,
I agree. I agree with you
I
on this part.
I
The
think
kids' movies were a lot better back in the day.
there is such a low standard
Yes, absolutely,
that
hundred
we've
percent,
set,
100%.
and people are and like you're getting lower to those standards, and that's fine. I mean, if that pleases you, but you have to admit that your bar is getting lower,
For kids' movies, absolutely.
and it's just ridiculous. And I'm not saying kids movies were totally innocent back in the day because they were more propaganda and corporate and like feeding you advertising, like they were really in your face. But I I don't know. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree, dude. Back in the day, you had a movie like Land Before Time, which, to be fair, also was an extremely simple story with not a lot of meat on the bones. But talk about a movie for kids that would punch you in the gut. Like right in the beginning, you have a child who just their mom dies. It's like,
Mhm.
it's like you're showing this to a kid, you know, and that just like I don't know. That's just not what we're getting these days. Honey, I stepped on those brats. Good riddance. That's right, Silhouette. Anyway, so that was good. I just wanted to shit on Mario in front of Todd because I knew he liked it.
I like it.
Everything
I think it's a great kids movie. And
I would never buy it. I mean, you get if I had kids, that's a different story, but I would never own it. But I'm saying there's all of these adults out there that are buying it. They don't have kids. Part of
yeah,
the
that's
gamer
ridiculous.
club,
I would never buy it if I
and
didn't
they're
have
all
kids.
worshiping. They're all like in the V8. They're all in the
That's
4K groups. Like, look what I scored. Oh, they
no.
released it early. Got it. Got him. Got him. I'm like, this is a fucking cartoon,
Exactly. No,
and it's
I'm
not a
with you on
good
that.
cartoon. I mean, I
No,
love
it's not.
animation.
It's not a great cartoon, but the thing is, this was my kid's first DVD, and I bought him the one sheet poster, and I framed it and put it on his wall. He's
I
all
mean,
excited, man. He
that's good.
loves it.
I would not knock on that, but I'm just saying, like, as far as adults, like, I'm not
No,
gonna
I would never
let's not
buy it.
kid anybody.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would never buy it. I'd watch it once, but that was it. I'd probably watch it on a streaming service. That's
I'm
it.
just saying, in my personal opinion, to put a nail in it, the best kids movies are ones that do have layers that is gonna have plenty of stuff that's smart enough to where they know it's gonna go over the kids' heads, right? They're getting what they want on the surface level, and we're not going to jeopardize what we're exposing the kids to because we're giving subtle nods that only adults are going to get. You know who else was good about this? 80s and 90s cartoons. We were talking about this on the Deftones tier list. Rugrats.
Yeah, Rugrats was fun.
Rugrats. It's a show about babies that has mass appeal to little kids. I was watching it,
I would
but
never watch it now,
but
or my parents would never watch it. But
the first two seasons are brilliant. But you watch it now, and there's so much humor in there
yeah,
for
yeah,
adults. There's tons and tons of adult stuff. Whether it's like innuendos about love or sex or what, it's there, and it's so funny. Depression, the whole deal. Yeah, Silhouette, Ren and Stimpy. I don't know how they even got that past moderators because Ren
yeah.
and
That was
Stimpy,
a great show, but yeah,
but Ren and Stimpy was really pushing boundaries. That honestly, it had kid appeal because you had the aesthetic and the cartoon, but like, dude, they were really on the nose. Even as a kid, I'm
yeah.
like,
You had Beavis and Butthead, you had South Park, and you had Ren and Stimpy.
but Beavis and Butthead, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ren and Stimpy should have been more in league like Beavis and Butthead,
Yeah,
aimed at
yeah.
teens, not kids. But for some reason, they just turned a blind eye to that stuff. So I'm not going to include that. But anyway, that's that for that.
Oh,
What?
I did get this. So I got this for $8 or whatever. I got this on eBay. It's kind of cool because I used to have this DVD, but I finally got it again. The Alice in Chains Unplugged DVD,
Yeah,
and it also came with the book,
the tab.
the tab book, dude.
Oh, they bundled it. Cool.
Yeah, they bundled it. So I was like, for $8, I'm getting it. So it's
Oh
pretty
yeah, that
cool.
is cool. Most of those tab books are really inaccurate,
Oh,
so you got to be careful.
I'm sure they are.
But I mean, if you're learning or whatever, I mean, eventually you'll develop your ear and you'll be like, God, what that?
Yeah,
Because you know those aren't necessarily approved. They just go through whatever channels to get the rights to
the
publish
record
it.
stores just want to make their
I
money.
mean, there was more than one publisher that was putting out those tablature books, and you could get two of the same album tab books from different publishers, and they would be different. Like what? And Todd's showing interest in maybe wanting to get a guitar. There's also more than one way to play something. Like you don't, the notes are going to exist all over the fretboard, but still, like for example, you're going to look at any tab book or any people you see covering a song like Paranoid or any Black Sabbath song, everybody plays it wrong. And you'll
Yeah,
know what I'm talking.
everybody plays it different. Yeah, no, I hear you.
And it doesn't mean like it's not right, but they're
Yeah,
not playing it the way it is on the record,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So they're playing the same notes, but they're choosing to play those notes on lighter strings on the neck and higher up, or lower on the neck rather. Whereas Tony Iommi, he played that shit low on the two low E string, E and A string. He played it different, and nobody, I don't know. It's very inaccurate, and then sometimes that develops bad habits if you don't,
I just want to go back to music theory class with you, man, with Mr. Barker's class, and
ding
go through
ding
that again.
dang, ding ding dang, ding
because
ding
because I want to
dang.
learn how to play the piano again, and I want to learn how to play the guitar again. That's what I want to learn.
Yeah, but we'll get you there. There you go. You can get you. I'll have to talk to you about guitars because I know you want to buy a guitar and then stick with it. Learn with your kid. You
Oh,
know,
absolutely. No, that's the plan.
and eventually, like me, you outgrow that. Especially Alice in Chains music, like that tab book. Their music is super simple, but
Oh yeah. No, I hear you.
that's the best music. To be honest with you, if you can make a really good song, Black Sabbath was the same way with simplicity. That's the key. It's just harder and harder to do that because everything's been recycled so much. It's
Th-
everything's kind of
This
like
is still my favorite live album, though.
it's
I mean,
fantastic.
unplugged. It's amazing. It's probably my favorite Alice in Chains album, even though it's a live album.
Yeah, but
So,
like something like that though. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't even need a tab book, and I could play all that
oh,
by
I
ear.
bet you could.
I could because it's so simple. But that's great stuff to learn on, man. That's the best shit. But
Yeah.
did you have anything else you want to show?
No, no, man, go for it.
Even when you start getting into playing leads, if you care about that, that's
Mm.
Alice in Chains is perfect for that too because Jerry Cantrell has the simplest, best leads.
Hmm.
They're so to the point. They're not flashy. If you notice, they're never and they're pretty short. They're not like long and
Yeah,
extended.
yeah.
The only thing I have of note I want to show is whoop,
Oh, nice. Okay. I don't
that
even have that.
yeah. Well, they I bought it straight from Arrow
Mm.
and they were actually running it at close to original price because now it's like if you try and get it on Amazon or it's all second party sellers and you know you're gonna pay 50 or 60 for it or whatever. I got it for 35 straight
To the
through
website.
Arrow. Yeah.
It's a great movie too. Like I've become a big fan of that movie over the years since I've gotten older.
It's great. It's fantastic. I love it. It's I'm not a huge fan. I don't think there's a lot of good werewolf movies. I
Just
think
the
most of them.
atmosphere in that movie is just, man, it is
Well,
awesome.
I just love the setting too. Like when they're wandering around and they're in England, it
Oh,
takes me
it's
back.
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
like, dude, it feels like England. If even though it's obviously set some decades ago, dude, it reminds me of when I've been in England. Like this is what
Yeah.
England feels like, walking around some parts of old London and stuff like
When
that.
they go in that pub in the beginning, man, that
It's a
that's
I
awesome.
love it, dude. I love it. Um, you want to talk about news or do
Yes.
we?
Yeah, we can talk about that unless you want to go
No,
into
let's
Kino.
sounds like you want to go into Kino. Fine, we're gonna go into Kino. We're gonna wake everybody up after that boring woodpecker and Mario shit talking. We're gonna
Yeah.
play our first segment of the day. We're gonna play Name That Kino before we go into the news because there's a
I've
lot
been
of
looking
news to
forward to
cover.
this, man. All week.
Really? That's sad.
Absolutely, man.
Okay.
I've been
No,
dealing with
I
woodpeckers all week.
I think it's gonna be good, man. I don't know how you're gonna do. Let's see. I'm sorry, dude. Hold on. Silhouette. I love that my super chat is so messed up it won't be read. No, I just didn't catch it yet. Hold on. We'll stop the press.
Yeah, go for it.
Silhouette says Alice in Chains, lewd. Where were there bruises, tears? Um, no. Uh,
They buried their nose in shit.
not that you're really asking. It's probably just like a rhetorical thing, but Alice in Chains to me is just about a person in addiction. They're chained down by the the things that weigh them down, and they're all about drugs, man. You want to get depressed? Listen to Dirt. Listen to Jar of Flies.
They're just big Alice Cooper fans, man. They wanted him in chains.
Like Dwight Fry. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna get into Name That Kino. Yeah, I hopefully I can challenge you more than I did on the first one. All right, so Todd, name that Kino.
What we got? Oof. Drag Me to Hell.
And remember, Todd, don't look at the comments just in case people want to like chime in. So
I'm
maybe
not.
like
I'm not. I'm. I full.
yeah,
I did a full
you
screen on my.
okay, you
Mine.
guys can chime in if you want. Drag Me the Hell is not correct.
Um, man.
And I have to press that, like I said, we try and make selections here that we feel like they've seen before. I'm not gonna put something on here that I
House on
know he
Haunted
hasn't.
Hill.
Uh-uh. I do have three options for every movie. We got 3 movies, and I've got 3. Now, I do feel these get easier as they
Thinner?
go. Dude, you were so far from the base that it's not even funny. Like really far.
Okay, okay.
You like we're not even in the right
This is tough.
decade.
This is
We're not
tough,
in the
man.
right decade, dude. You're like so off
This looks
base.
This looks 90s, man. Late
Not even
80s,
close.
90s. Really?
Mendoza guessed Porky's. I'm only saying that because that's not close either. But at least you're closer to the
This
era.
looks 90s to me because of her
Absolutely.
hair
Okay. Are you ready for the next
and
hint?
the earrings. Yeah, I am.
Okay. Hint number 2. Todd, name that Kino.
The Ring.
That guess makes sense, but it is not The Ring.
No, not Beetlejuice.
It cracks me up, that picture. It doesn't like Beetlejuice. It's not Beetlejuice though.
How do I not know this? Poltergeist.
You're guessing. You're doing good. You're guessing all the movies that have TVs in them, but no, no. You're not close though. It does look like Beetlejuice in a TV.
It does. It's probably the teeth that
Yeah.
give it away for Beetlejuice. Oh God.
Now I'm starting to wonder if you're not going to get the last one even.
I might not, man. This is a good Kino.
There. I'm pretty. You had to have seen this movie. You have to have. If you haven't, then I'll be shocked. So, like, I guess I don't know for a fact that you haven't seen it. No, I think you have because to sort of vet my, I think I went on Letterbox to see if you had at least seen them before. Because I'll use that as like a hint, a guide.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
that's a good idea. Okay, I'll have to start doing that too.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean like maybe I don't have everything marked on Letterbox. Sometimes
Yeah.
I forget, but if it is there, then I know it's a good indicator and it's safe. But I think this was on here. I think I checked. So you've seen it.
So this came out in what? Mid 2000s.
Bro,
Is this
you're
okay? Is this
so
Cigarette Burns?
you are so off, man. Do you need the
Really?
last? Yes, you are so off.
Well, look at the TV, man. It looks like
Mid
it's
two
from.
thousands. All right, so are you ready for the last
See,
hint?
I see like an air wick or something like a air freshener right next to the TV. Is that
It
an
could,
air wick?
it could be. It could be. Speaking of Beetlejuice, could be. That's the good Beetlejuice, dude. I mean, I feel like you need the last hint.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Give it to
And
me.
I don't even think at this point, I don't think the last hint's going to be obvious to you, but maybe it will be.
I
It
might
is.
not have seen this movie. I don't know.
Todd, it's a movie that I think you should see. I would think, but okay, whatever. Name that Kino, Todd, for the love of God.
Near Dark.
No, no. Okay, somebody in the chat.
Demons 2. Demon.
You got it. Demons 2.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so you have seen it.
Yeah. It's been a while, dude. I own it. I haven't watched it in a while though.
All right. So, did you finally recognize the kid, or just guess?
Yeah. No, I recognize the kid.
All right, man. That was a bit of a struggle. Do you need it? So, like, yeah, going back to it, if you want to look at that, right? There's the demon coming out, which the movie makes no fucking sense. Why is the demon come out of the TV? I'll never know. It really doesn't make any sense. And this is one of the main actresses in Demons. So you weren't even in the right decade.
When did Demons 2 come out? 80s?
Yeah. It was Aja Argento's first movie, because obviously it was produced by Argento, right? It was Lamberto Bava, right? He directed the Demons movies. But anyway, what's his face? Yeah.
Demons 2, yeah.
Yeah. What's his face?
86.
Yeah,
86.
Argento got his daughter in the movie. She's got a small part.
Asia Argento, yeah.
I think her name's Aja. I always used to call her Asia.
She was in Land of the Dead.
Yeah, but she's also obviously the daughter of the producer of this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lamberto Bava. If you want to like just kind of like comment on the movies, Demons 2 is not as good as Demons 1.
I need to go back and rewatch this, man. It's been a little while.
It's got some wacky visual stuff going on, and I know a lot of people were talking about the new Evil Dead Rise basically being. I haven't seen Evil Dead Rise, but people in the comment, everybody was saying like it's basically Demons 2 with the plot and the apartment complex and shit like that. And the director's like, "Well, I had no idea. I've never seen Demons 2," but everybody was sitting there comparing them. I wouldn't know, but all I know is I've seen this movie and it's fairly simple. It's just wacky, but it's okay. I think the first one, I like the cinema, the setting of the first movie better. Everything about the I like the soundtrack better in the first one, but
Hmm.
it's got a lot of stark visuals. But good call on you were confused on the decade, but it does look pretty ambiguous in that
Yeah.
regard. Like,
Yeah.
look at that. It's 1986. You could have seen this in 86, and maybe because it's a still frame, but it does look a little weird and wonky when you're watching it on the video. Like, but all right. So, as dictated on our rules, if you have to use the third hint, you don't get any glory with that. We don't count that as winning. You have to
No,
guess it within the first two to officially get a point. And Todd
I'm a
has
beta
failed.
bitch. Yeah.
All right. All right. So we're gonna go to movie 2 out of 3. Todd, name that Kino. Oh shit, that's tiny. Let me zoom in on that for you.
Let's see. Cops.
No, the movie you're thinking of is Cop, singular, but
Cop. Yeah.
it's not Cop.
Um.
Granted, this is very hard because it looks like every James Wood movie from the 80s. Like it's not.
Is this Glengarry Glen Ross? Wasn't he in that?
This is not Glengarry Glen Ross.
Man.
Like I said, this first one is a bit tough because it kind of looks like a lot of James Wood movies from the era. You'd have to really be an aficionado to really get it. But it is here. There are hints in this picture. Like if you've seen the movie.
I don't know if I have. I mean, I haven't seen every James Wood movie.
Don't Mendoza knows what it is right away. He gave you don't take it. Don't look at it. Don't look at the comments.
I won't look at the comments.
But but Mendoza knew it right away.
Hmm.
He knew where he was in the scene and everything. But if you need a marinade, if not, I can go on to hint number 2.
Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
All right, hint number 2. Name that Kino, Riverman. I actually think I meant for this to be
Cat's Eye.
Yeah, I meant for this to be the third one. I think that's the cat kind of gives it away.
Yeah. Love that dagger.
I know, I love it. I love that. I love the use of like the miniatures and all the stuff they do with this little midget in a costume. But yeah, I love Cat's Eye. I think it's fun. And it's fun PG-13 anthology horror.
I haven't seen that since the 90s.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think that middle segment, the one about the loan shark mobster or whatever, and the guy on the balcony, that's a very suspenseful 20 minutes of him being like on the ledge the whole time. It's very good. Okay, so we have to give that one to Todd because he got it on the second guess. But to be fair, though, I think this one would have been just as easy, right? If you would have got this as your second one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So that is that. Now, last one, 3. Let's see if Todd can redeem himself and at least get 2 out of 3. Because I don't consider 1 out of 3 a success in the house of revival and video rot. So
Okay,
Todd,
okay. Last week, what did you get? You got 1 out of 3 last week.
What did I get last week? I think you're misremembering. What was it?
Yes, the only one you got was Get the Gringo.
What were the other ones?
Deep Red and
Yeah, we were
shit.
struggling.
What was the third one?
Because Zach was on that too.
I have that saved.
Yeah, what is the third one? Because I didn't even get it on the second guess.
Videodrome.
Yeah, we got that on the last. Yeah, it took to the last one.
Yeah, you guys didn't.
Okay.
1 out of 3.
Okay, we got it on the obvious one. But you know what? I got Get the Gringo on the very first slide, so I'm still doing better. I'm doing better so far because you haven't gotten a one slide yet. But
I'll
you
give
can
it
prove
to
me
you.
wrong. You could prove me wrong. Todd, name that Kino. Last one.
Kindergarten Cop.
No, it's a good guess. Murder one, Chris.
Not Terminator. Cobra.
Wrong. You can't do that. Later, Silhouette. Thanks for stopping in.
Let me think. Commando.
You're like stuck on these action like Arnold. It's got to be you're like Cobra Commando. Hey, Cobra Commando. I just did a thing.
This is a tough one. So I'm trying. Okay, So the era of the gun is probably I don't know. It's trying to be futuristic. I can't recognize the make. I know it has a
I
suppressor on it,
I like how you're
but
picking apart the image like this. That's what we got to do. We got to use what we.
um, I don't know. Can you? It can't be futuristic because she doesn't look. She looks like she's out of the maybe late '80s, early '90s. I want to say maybe mid '90s. I don't
Unless it's
know.
a period piece. How do you know it's not a period piece?
You wouldn't go with a period piece on this show. Um, let's see.
Mandela gets
Uh,
stumped.
this bushwhacked.
Oh no, no.
I was
That's a
thinking
good
maybe
one.
it's a live action flick.
That's a good. That's good though, because you keep guessing all these action movies, and how you know it's not like fucking Ernest Bushwhacked
Yeah,
or or fucking
exactly.
or getting even with dad or something.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna need to go to the second slide on this one.
It's like you see a gun and you see tears. Like, oh, it's got to be some kind of like action, but it might be a comedy. There's always
Yeah,
bad guys in comedies. Even in House Guest, there was
house
guys trying to
guest.
kill.
Yes,
There
that
was
that
there,
would be,
there was people
yes.
trying to kill Sinbad. You know. All right,
Yeah.
so that is strike one. Now these ones, I did a good job where they get easier with each one,
Yeah.
100%. So the next one, you might get it on the next one. That this might be all you need.
Okay.
Todd, name that Kino. These are like lo-fi images. I'm sorry.
Sudden death.
That is right. Sudden
Yep.
death. See, I felt like that was going to give it away. And each picture, I just kind of got closer and closer, right? Just kind of added more. Look at these
Yep.
shitty images I got.
God,
God,
was
I couldn't.
the tenderizer, dude?
I love that whole scene. And Kino Lorber is supposed to release Sudden Death 4K.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where it is. I think it's coming out sometime this year. And I can't wait. It's obviously Die Hard ripoff, Die Hard on
Yep.
Ice in a hockey rink. Um, the
I ran
ultimate
it
give
so many times growing up.
the ultimate giveaway would have been the whole
Yeah.
right. But there's something about this movie that is kind of comfort food. I love it. I love the scene where he's beating up the fucking mascot in the kitchen and he kills him, and then before he leaves the kitchen, he sanitizes his hands. So stupid. And to me, it's like such a weird, subtle thing. But all right, not
this
bad.
and this is the perfect way to end it because it kind of brings us into our next topic.
Does it?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the new trailer for Mortal Kombat.
Oh, because Van Damme. All right.
Yeah,
So yeah, lots to talk about with news. The big one, and did you watch it? We're talking about the
I
MK1
did.
gameplay. All right. So I watched the Summer Games Fest, and it delivered everything it promised. Even though I'm like, oh, I wanted more. I wanted like a huge showcase. I want them to like go in, but this is what they're gonna do until it comes out in September. They're gonna give us like different little presentations within NetherRealm. They're gonna like release a couple characters here, a couple characters here. They're gonna spoon feed us a little bit, but I can't complain because they did give us gameplay. They gave us some more story,
yeah.
and they did kind of go into some of like the way the cameo stuff works. And what are your thoughts on how it looks?
So I think it looks pretty good. The thing that I don't really, I hope you're able to play as the cameo characters.
That's not the
In
way it
like
works,
later,
Todd.
I no, I'm saying like in later DLCs, are they going to be playable
No,
or no?
no. So and Ed Boon did say like if you look at the trailer, at least there was 16 slots in the because you pick your character. It looked like there was, gosh, what was it? I think it was 24. There was 24. They had a few. They confirmed. I think the only character that we got confirmation in this one that we didn't know about before is they showed Kenshi. But
Yeah,
anyway, so but you could tell outside of what was in the trailer, there was 24 empty slots, and you could see how they'd move it around. There's probably going to end up being like 32 or something with DLC or whatever, like they normally do. After you pick them, another menu comes up, and that's your cameo menu. It's a completely separate roster. Even though Ed Boon confirmed on this stream that because they were asked, now are the people on each roster exclusive to that roster, or like will some of them be repeats? He said yes, some of them will be repeats. He said
okay,
he said this cameo roster is mainly dedicated to like old school. So he said, you notice how like Jax was wearing MK2, Sonya
yeah.
was
Kane
MK1,
Kano is old school.
MK1,
Yeah,
all that stuff. But he said, for example, yes, Sub Zero and Scorpion are on this roster too, but they're on the main roster. So you can technically pick two Sub-Zeros if you want. But I feel like Sonya's going to be main roster. I really hope Jax is. I hope he's not just limited to that because you got to have
I
Jax.
hope, yeah, I hope, not Cyrax, not him. Who was that striker? I hope he's playable.
I don't think he will be, but I hope he is. I don't see
Oh,
it.
it better, man.
He's just not popular enough. I love Striker.
He's
Now,
awesome in MK3. Awesome.
who I overpowered in Ultimate MK3, but who I think is going to make it's pretty easy to predict who's going to make main roster because there's obviously your mainstays, your Liu Kangs, your Scorpion. They fucking never go away. But then there's like the second tier where they're classics and they skip a game. So for example, Reptile was an MKX. Reptile was a no-show in 11. Reptile will be main roster in this one.
I hope he is, man. I love
Rain,
Reptile.
it's been a long time coming. He was DLC in the last game. Rain will be main roster in this one. I'm confident.
Well,
Uh,
Goro, is he a cameo, you think?
he was on Cameo. You didn't see him?
No, is he just going to be cameo or is he going to be main roster?
We don't know. I'm just speculating. I could see Goro not being in it. I could see Shiva being in it because she was DLC last time, but I could see her being main roster this time. Like I said, Rain. I think Ermac will be DLC this time.
Okay.
We'll see. Ermac wasn't in the last game, but he was in 10, and Ermac's a fan favorite. So I think he'll be in this game. If he's not main roster, I think he'll at least be DLC. Because the thing is about those DLC packs, they purposely hoard some popular characters to sell the DLC packs. So it's like, you might go, well, God, give us Ermac. We love him. He's great. Like, they're not going to like market a DLC combat pack with some generic character from the PS2 era that nobody likes. They're not going to do that. Like, they have to do save Shang Tsung for that, or like Shao Kahn in the last game. It's like they got to be popular enough to where people want to buy it. But I think we're gonna get the Cyber Ninjas. We're gonna get Cyrax and Sector on main roster. That's my
That'd be
thought.
sweet. That'd be
Because they
awesome.
they were nowhere to be seen in 11, even though they were developed and they were in the story mode. They were in the game, but you couldn't play as. They were in the story mode. It was kind of a crime. They had full movesets.
Was
And
Smoke or was he not?
no, we'll get Smoke. I guarantee you we'll get Smoke in this one too, because
Awesome.
Smoke
Awesome.
was not
Well,
in
he's on the
11.
first one, yeah. Or
But he
no, he
but
was
he
in the second
but he
cameo.
wasn't in 11. He wasn't in the last game. Like, he'll make an appearance. Because whenever they hold back these popular characters from an entry, everybody's fucking clamoring for them as DLC to come during that game. And when they don't, it's kind of like how gosh, what game was it? Was it MKX that Melina wasn't in? Melina wasn't in MKX.
How can you not have Melina in there?
But she wasn't, and she's a fan
Yeah.
favorite. So of course they brought her in 11. Um, and then like even the Cyber Ninjas, they had the Triborg, which was cool, but it was like one generic Triborg, and depending on the play style you picked, you could be one of them. So you could technically be them. If you pick this, fighting style X, Y, or Z, you would end up being Cyrax, Sector, or Smoke. But they were limited in that regard because each character had three fighting styles, and with them, you had one character partitioned into three. But anyway, I think they'll be back. I would like to see Kentaro come back as main roster personally, but I think Shiva will. But if I had my top pick, I want a new Shokan because this is a way to introduce a new Shokan if we're kind of like restarting the timeline. You know, why because they already announced like story differences. Ed Boon confirmed, like I said, in
Alternate
the
universe is
yeah,
what
in
it
this
is.
universe,
Yeah.
Sub-Zero and Scorpion are actually brothers,
Yeah, yeah.
siblings. Even though they were Japanese and Chinese, they were different ethnicities, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
It makes it
And
interesting. It's something new.
yeah, and you could tell, and they also make mention that Melina in the story that she's got a disease.
Oh, I didn't see that
Well,
part.
she's
Okay.
clearly the ruler of Edenia because she was talking about like the coming for my throne. So
Yeah.
she's the ruler of Edenia, and they're talking about how like they'll come after you if they find out your disease. That's not how she got those teeth in the original. She's really a lab experiment. She was created in a test tube with Tarkatan blood, so she's half Katana DNA and half Baraka DNA or whatever, Tarkatan, and so she's a freak of nature. In this, it seems like she's natural and she's just sick. So, which I wonder if that means we're gonna have Baraka. I don't think we'll get Baraka.
That would be cool, dude.
What, Baraka?
Yeah.
Baraka was in the last game. He wasn't in
He
10.
was in the last game?
He
Was he
was.
DLC?
Nope.
Oh,
He
I
was
thought he
main
was
roster,
DLC.
and he
Oh.
wasn't in 10. So I I think he'll sit this one out personally.
I don't
I
remember much of 11. I mean, I
I
remember
could
the crypt from 11, but
I could
I
Noob is a fan favorite, but I could see Noob being DLC even though Noob was main roster. But like I said, they're gonna have some of those heavy hitters um, be DLC for sure. James Long, apparently my greeting got deleted. Did it? I'm sorry, man. I did it. I don't think I saw anything. Was there profanity? It might have. No, but what's
What's
up,
up,
dude?
James?
Yeah, sorry about that, man. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. But
No, yeah, I didn't see it either, man.
talking Mortal Kombat, but as far as gameplay, I think I was a little concerned with the whole cameo system. I mean, because it kind of sounded just like Marvel versus Capcom, where
Do
it
you
is
have
this.
to do the cameo system?
I think it's baked. I don't know. They didn't specify if you could do without it, but
Because
even if you,
it'd be cool if you can change it back to classic style too.
I think it looks awesome the way it is. Because at first I'm like, well, is this going to be just like Marvel vs. Capcom, where it kind of is?
Give me the
Because
option though.
with MVC, you have a main roster. Once you pick your character, a separate roster pulls up with just exclusive assist characters. But with that, it's one dedicated special where they come out and help you, right? I think this is cool because you pick your assist character and you could tell you action them by R1 because you could see it on the screen.
Yeah,
And Ed Boon said, you use okay, James Long, he used the word homo. That's gonna do it. That's why I got deleted.
yeah. Can't
But
use that,
anyway,
man.
he said like you press the command, it's pretty easy to use, and depending on if you push like left directional, up directional, they'll do a different attack. And so what I liked about it is it seemed to be fun and fluid like X because they slowed it down in 11. They brought the combat in closer and it was slower and there was no running, there was no dashing.
That's why I like 10 better or X.
You like 10 better, X.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, X was faster. They
Mhm.
brought this back. This one is faster. It's got breakers again.
Good.
The string combos. That you saw how fluid this game looked? Dude, it looked fucking fast as shit.
It
And the
did look
way
fast with the cameos too, which I was
yeah, no,
pretty
which is great.
surprised. How.
They were coming and they were integrating them into the combos, man. They'll be like chaining combos and they were integrating like an assist to come in. And it was just so fluid. And the way they're doing it, I'm excited about the cameos. I think it's going to be great. And I don't see why you would ever want to not play with them if it's as
I
fun
don't
as
know.
it
I'm just not
looks.
used to it. Maybe it is cool. I don't know.
I think it'll be sweet. And then and even did you catch how it had like they brought back it looked like they brought back x-rays. Because remember in
Oh
11
yeah,
it went
yeah,
in,
yeah.
in 11 it went to crushing blows,
Mm-hmm.
which is similar. It's just they didn't go
X-rays
to
is awesome. When it first,
it looked like they're x-rays again. And they did you see that they had assisted x-rays?
oh okay, I didn't see
So
that.
it looks like the possibilities are going to be vast. So it depends. So yeah, if you had Kano as your assist or whatever, that altered how your X-rays would be, and they'd be tag teaming and doing stuff. And did you see that they had assisted fatalities?
I didn't see assistant. I know you can do cameo fatalities though, which is
That's
awesome.
what I mean. Cameo assist
That's
fatalities.
fucking
So
sweet.
like they showed it, like Scorpion had Kano as his assist, and he would like be throwing the harpoon up in the air. Kano would rip the heart and pull the head, and then like Sub Zero had the classic spine, whatever, and it was tagged with like whoever. They're combining them, and it's like, oh, this is insane. Which tells you the combinations are going to be endless with what you can do.
Mm.
But I think it looks fantastic. It looks kind of like MK11 to me as far as
Yeah,
design
yeah.
choices. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting there. Like, I was kind of hoping for some reason a whole new redesign because, like, you could tell the Johnny Cage is the same. They're using the same actor. Like, it's young, but you can tell it's like the same guy. And I'm like, it kind of looks weird as like a young Johnny. But I'll get over that stuff. I don't really care about that. But
Did they show a JCVD skin?
no, they didn't show it. But Ed Boon did confirm he's doing the voice too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You remember you
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that for
they
the
talked
voice.
about it, which is great.
That's
And
sweet.
I'm guessing it's going to be a young JCVD like Bloodsport. I don't know why they didn't have
Okay.
old, but I
Yeah.
would take
Yeah.
old. I don't give a shit. He could be old and
No,
wrinkly
that's
and
fine.
big leather bags under his eyes. I don't care. That's fun.
Well,
Um,
if they wanted the original JCVD in the first one, I'm sure that they want to go with the original one here.
but I'm stoked, and I also not that I minded 11, but they always flip. So like I like how the roster is back to being horizontal across the ground,
I do too, man. That's the way it should be.
but they go back and forth. It's always alternating, right? So 9 was the big block, left and right. Then 10 went down below with them on top, and then
Mm.
11 went back to the brick, and now we're back to this. They just flip flop, but I think it looks so cool the way it is. And the stages, what do you think about the stages that we got to see?
What was that stage? Was that inside? Johnny Cage's hotel room or something.
It was like
That
his
was
like
that
it
was
was his,
cool, dude.
it looked like a hotel or like a Hollywood penthouse, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
No, that's really cool. It's all going to play a part in the story mode.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I, I don't think we're ever going to get. Part of me kind of misses the old arcade games felt darker to me.
Yeah, they
Um,
did. Yeah.
but I really want some like I would like another Hades level and stuff like that. And
I was
but you know,
I gripe about Kano because he looked way too clean, man, with the old school skin. I don't know. It
oh
didn't look like Kano to me.
he
Yeah.
looks too clean to you.
Yeah, he doesn't look intimidating like he does in the
That's how he
original.
looks in MK1. He's just like
I know, but I don't know. Maybe it was just because I was younger.
it is what it is. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see more stages. I'm excited to see what they add because I refuse to believe that they're going to stay completely retro with those cameos. They have to use it to bring back some of these obscure PS2 era characters that people claim. I could deal without the fucking PS2 era, but I feel like that's how they're going to
Oh
bring in
yeah.
these characters that aren't worth main roster, but like fans.
So
So
that's why
that
they're bringing in Megan Fox with that as a cameo. I'm guessing.
well, that wasn't confirmed, but I bet it's true. It's probably true. I'm sure Megan Fox is going to be like a skin for Katana or something. And who was it? Travis Scott? I don't know. It was going to be Jax.
I never heard a Travis Scott song in my life, which is crazy.
Yeah, I've never heard a Travis Scott song either, but uh anywho, stoked for that. Um Next bit of news is oh, Friday the 13th getting delisted, folks.
Yes.
We got to talk about it. We got to harp on physical media for a second here. So, it's fine back in the day, technically eventually all formats die. They stop making Super Nintendo games or whatever, but if you find the game in the wild, you could still play it. If because I don't think Friday the 13th has a campaign, right?
No,
It's
it
it's
doesn't.
it's it's multiplayer. So what they said in this is they lost the rights. So not only is it going to get delisted, but once it's delisted, you're not going to be able to play it because it's only online. The servers are going to go down, right?
Yep.
So you but whenever this game came out in what 2016 20 whenever you rented it, for 7 years or however long it
Yep.
was out. I don't even, which I'm not saying people didn't get their fun out of it. It's just a different era, man. I mean, even if I don't play my old cartridge of Turtles in Time anymore, it doesn't mean that I like to own it. Like I bought it. Like I have that in perpetuity. It's just this new era of like just stuff getting ripped from you. Because I know technically you never own anything. You're just
Yeah, pretty
leasing the
much.
license, right? But that never mattered because when you owned a physical copy of something. But now it really does. It's like no, you're buying the right to play this property, this material, but they can rip it from you from any time.
Yeah,
It's kind of
absolutely.
like when you throw money away to buy movies on Vudu or Amazon or
Yep.
whatever. They could go away at any time and you don't own them. And it's happened. Like I've lost a third of my Voodoo library
Oh yeah.
just because
Well, I
of
gotta get
like,
the disc with the voodoo code on there, right?
but just because of like partnerships fall out with the studios or whatever happens, and you don't own them. So yeah, I mean
You're renting the streaming rights. Is basically what you're doing.
and technically you're just kind of technically renting the right to watch and
Yep.
possess the IP. With a physical media, you still own something tangible, and they can't fuck with that.
That's why I don't. That's why I don't buy digital.
And it's almost and physical's almost dead, man. I mean, like
It
it's just
is. Yeah.
and even 4Ks don't sell. I know they've been like pushing
No,
this hardcore for a couple years now, but they still don't, man.
I think
People don't
DVDs
care.
still sell the most.
You kind of when you get out of your tunnel because you get tunnel vision like following the little video groups. If you're into physical media and Blu-rays and 4Ks, it might seem like everybody loves it when you're just like in these Facebook groups and shit like that are like niche like you. But if you look outside and zoom out, dude, nobody gives a shit about this.
Nobody does. Yeah.
Nobody wants to go to the movies, which I don't blame them. I don't blame
Yeah.
them. It's like I think it's the movie's fault. I think it's the Hollywood's fault and theater's fault for the failure and the downfall for not keeping up and not being able to compete with sitting at home.
Hmm.
I mean, aside from physical, I still like to buy physical, but I can't get mad at people for not wanting to, dude, you if you have a family, it's easier to rent the shitty Super Mario
Yeah.
Brothers movie for $25 for your entire. If you have 4 or 5 kids, you never know. Like you just
Yeah.
got to pay the one time to rent it, and
Well,
you know you
cheaper than
can
going to the theater. I mean, that's
eat
like
your
a
own
hundred.
popcorn, dude. If you have a big enough family, it's a couple $100 every time you
Yeah.
go to the theater. It's like I get it, and the theaters are not doing enough to. They've tried right with selecting your seats and finally upgrading. Like every theater now has upgraded seats. It took a long time,
They did that,
but
but they didn't upgrade their sound systems. They didn't upgrade their screens. Like
no,
the
it's
4Ks at home on your 75-inch TV looks 10 times better than the theater, I think.
I mean, just the price for admission is just they say like, oh, you're trying to sell an experience. I'm like, what experience, man? Like, it's just
Somebody chomping popcorn in your ear for 2 hours.
like I said, they've helped out by spacing out and giving everybody room and stuff. But it's just it's them. It's tag teaming with Hollywood. They put out shit movies, dude. Who
Yeah.
wants to go to the movie? I don't. Obviously, a lot of people do. What am I saying? But if you look at like what's getting theatrical space throughout the year, it's just Disney. Disney has got a stranglehold on every main slot. And so, when a new Marvel movie comes out or a Pixar movie or a Star Wars movie or whatever else they own, they 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 have so much demand on so many screens. And it's
Yeah.
just it's just nothing else. And if there is like lately over, the last few months, we actually had a lot of stuff come out, like stuff like John Wick or
Hmm.
even like Evil Dead
Which I still
Rise,
need to see.
guess what? With the exception of John Wick, a lot of these movies, they're in and out of the theater so fast that you don't get a chance to see it.
Yep.
Like I
Yep.
would have liked to have supported, not that like Terrifier interests me, but I would have loved to have gone out and supported some of these horror movies
Absolutely.
that
That's
were
why I do
actually,
independent.
and same thing with like
X and Pearl and stuff.
I
That's
didn't
why I
I
went
did
to see
I
those.
didn't get to see Pearl. I saw X, but Pearl was in and out so fast, and it's
I
got
didn't see. Yeah, I didn't see Pearl in theater. It was X.
like you have to be able to see it like the first weekend, and sometimes with your busy schedule as an adult you can't. But it's like a movie like Pearl is getting one screen if they're lucky, whereas like Avengers is getting 20. They're taking up all the screens, and it's in and out in a weekend, maybe two, and it's just like it sucks. It's just the
No,
way
I'm
it
with you,
is.
man.
And as much as I wish it wasn't the case anymore, it's their fault. It's everybody's
Oh
fault. I
yeah.
mean, so now people just have to move along with it. Just like how, we're gonna have to embrace fucking AI because AI is the new scary future. But like anything else, AI is a tool and people could use it to an advantage, but we know they won't. Just like Pro Tools with music is a great tool, but everybody abuses it. Everybody
Yeah.
abuses it. Music sucks. It's processed. It's
It's
all
gonna
doctored.
it's gonna cause people
It's
not to be creative anymore. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's absolutely terrible. In theory, I've seen a couple of musicians defend AI. In theory, it could be a good tool if people could help themselves, but nobody can resist dipping their finger in that sugar bowl
mhm.
too many times. So, in theory, okay, if you're a songwriter, AI could be just like a thesaurus, where you open up a thesaurus to get ideas for new words to say
Yep.
something you're trying to
Yep.
say. Like, okay,
Yep.
great. AI, you could use AI to come up with a chord pattern to give you an idea because you can't copyright chord patterns. You can't. This is all the same stuff. You could give AI to give you jumping points to help you think of things that you never would have thought about,
You can have them write a whole song or a movie for you.
but it'll get abused. It'll get abused, and AI will be doing everything. AI is going to be writing songs in full. AI eventually will be writing scripts in full because you could look. You
Creating
could
video,
you you
everything.
you you could have convinced me that Disney's output was all AI written anyway. Like with these Marvel movies, they are all the fucking same. So
Hmm.
I don't put it past me at all. And I think there will be some pushback at first. So what I think is going to happen is someone like Disney will not own up that certain scripts are AI written, and they'll probably pay someone a nominal fee to use a name or use a pen name, use a
Yep.
ghost name,
Yep.
like written by this guy. But it's really not. And then people will warm up to it and it'll just be the way. Now, I think people like directors and certain hands-on stuff, those will be the last things to get replaced. But the first line, the people that do the writing, dude, that's the first thing that's going to go.
That's why they should be on strike right now.
and then it's going to be people like actors and voice actors. Voice actors, it's already happening. Games are using AI a little bit to cut corners, right? When you have these big, massive open world games and you have a million NPCs that say a bunch of shit, they just whenever you sign on to take any kind of paid project, you sign a waiver now with these game companies that basically say, "Hey, you're giving us the rights to use your what you give us, and we're going to enter it in a database. We might recycle it later for AI."
Well, you just
Um,
think. I mean, Tom Cruise is going to be in Mission Impossible 51 in 10, 20 years.
and
You know.
eventually it'll get to that. We're going to have
Yep.
people signing away their likenesses, and
After
then
they're
we'll be
dead, 20,
and
30
and
years.
and deep fake technology. It advanced really fast.
Yeah, it did.
Like literally. I remember at the time. I remember like if you when I saw Iron Man 3, actually, the last scene of the movie, Robert Downey Jr., they couldn't get him on set. They couldn't get him back for a reshoot. So they just got to stand in and deep faked his face. At the time when I saw it, I'm like, I didn't notice. But now when I go back and now that I knew it was deep fake, I noticed. But then just a couple years later, like how far like Disney advanced it, like shit. And it's just gonna get to the point where you're not gonna be able to tell.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
it's gonna get to the point. And then you mix in the fact that you're gonna be able to AI generate their voices too to say whatever they want. It's gonna be nuts, man. And I don't know. I just think it's gonna steal something away from it. Like I think for your filthy casuals, they're always going to be what's important to people that are making this stuff, because I think there's going to be a whole generation of kids that are born, maybe the next generation, that's all they're going to know is AI content.
Yeah, yeah.
We were talking about standards and how they've changed before. So if a kid has grown up his whole life watching movies that were in a world where the movie was AI written and whatever, or the song they like is AI written, they're not going to know no different, and it's still going to be a part of their upbringing, and they're going to associate nostalgia with it.
Well,
But
just think of how inconsistent each project would be, though, if it was written in
it
AI.
it'll get better. It'll get better though. It'll
But
get it,
that, I mean, that's probably 20 years down the road. But that's what I'm saying. Like, at
and
first, it's like, why would anybody want to watch that shit?
but like I said, when we get into like the next generation or the one after that, they're going to know no different, and people like us are going to get phased out because they don't
Yeah.
care about people like us. Like I don't want to watch anything that wasn't written by a human being.
Oh, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like it takes away any authenticity to it, and I'm like, I don't, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But we're gonna phase out, they're not gonna care, and the filthy casuals will be totally fine because they're already going to see Marvel movies nonstop
And
that are just the same copy paste shit. They're not gonna care.
they're
And
probably already AI at this point, right?
I'm just, that's what I was saying. I hope though that there's always going to be some kind of like fringe group that are making indie movies that are keeping it real. I hope that'll always exist to a degree. But eventually, it's also going to get to a point, if you're, when you litigation issues, you're never going to be able to tell.
Yeah. Yep.
How are they going to watermark this shit? So it's going to get to a point eventually. I think at first it's going to be a rocky road where people are starting to sue and people are making accusations, and you're never going to be able to prove what was AI and what was not. Like, how are you going to prove? And then eventually, once we get through that rocky patch, I think Hollywood and the system and the music industry will have established an infrastructure where it's like anybody that enters this industry from a certain point will be signing away all their rights,
Yep.
right? To where no more lawsuits will happen. Like it's going to happen with like the people that are experiencing the change, people our age and whatever. But like I said, once we get to the next phase, the next generation, it will be a whole new infrastructure that people
Basically,
are just
sign
used
your
to.
life away for $50 million as an actor, and they can use
Uh,
it.
And you're never going to be able to sue. You're never going to
Nope.
be able of
Did I
wrestling. You're never
lose
gonna be able
you?
to prove anybody wrong. You
Okay,
know
good.
what? And it's no, you did. I'm here.
Okay, cool.
It's already hard enough for people that want to be creative and like write, for example. You're already competing with so many talented people in industries that are they thrive on gatekeeping. It's all
Yep.
gatekeeping. It's all about who you know anyway. So you're already competing enough with human beings. Now you have to like worry about, okay, has this incredibly clever idea that I've come up with, has it already been kind of cooked up by AI? It's like
That's
we,
crazy to
we
me.
might not be
Yeah.
quite there yet, but it's gonna get there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It will.
And like I said, you're not gonna be able to sue because it's all gonna be concocted of other people's ideas.
Yep.
It's just a it's all this stuff that we've been getting fed, all these concept albums and movies like Blade Runner and Terminator and Fear Factory albums that have been talking about the rise of the machines and AI, and
Mm-hmm.
people, but science fiction predicts reality, and it always has,
Yep.
right? You look at even stuff from the 50s was predicting what we're at now, and it's just like we're there. So all the
Mm-hmm.
science fiction of our childhood or even our like parents' childhoods is going to be a reality. And the thing is we're all just gonna have to embrace it. There is that argument too of like you shouldn't just be a grumpy old man complaining about it, because that's true, because you can't really fight it. You're not going to change it. So if you were smart, you would try your best to get on the bandwagon and use it to your advantage the best you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd
Uh,
use it to an extent, but I'd still buy, movies that were actually made by humans. I would hold on to the shit that I actually cared about.
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know, man. Um, we're just gonna have to move with the times, and
Yep.
it's scary, and it's gonna change the landscape. You're gonna have a lot of people, just like the music industry, right? You got a lot of people go out of work and fall and crash because nobody bought physical media anymore. But you had the people that were kind of starting on the cusp of digital that are doing well. Like there's a couple bands out there that are like, when we got started in like the early 2000s. So, record sales were already kind of declining, and this whole thing like iTunes was kind of the new thing. Um, and if you have enough foresight, you can model the stuff you sign, the agreements you sign, to protect you. So there's some people that do better with streaming than people that were like stuck in the old way. That I don't know.
Just think about the AI gatekeepers in 20 years. Did you know AI 74229? That movie sucked. The guy who or the AI that made that. It's
No,
like
it's gonna be
it's gonna be the same as it is today.
it's gonna be in 30 years. It's gonna be, maybe somebody is going to a class and they're teaching about like these old film movies like Blade Runner or Wizard of Oz, and they're gonna be like, "You mean you have to use your hands? It's like a
It's like a
baby's
baby's
toy."
toy. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna be like, "You mean people actually did this?
yeah.
What? Like they actually sat down and wrote it? God, what a waste of time." Because there's so many things that we do now that are so easy, but they used to take so long before. Like technology is a great thing. Like, can you think of like just little tasks that we do that are so easy because of our technology now? I mean,
Oh
there's a
god, I
bunch
love
there's
it,
a bunch
man.
of stuff. It's gonna be the same. People are gonna kids of the future are gonna be like, I can't believe people used to spend months and months and months and months writing a script when AI could just do it.
Hmm.
And it just is what it is. But yeah, I don't want to harp too long on
These
that.
times
Old
are changing.
old man Aaron, I know Mendoza. All right, Sean Boyle, as long as there's theaters, I'll go. I'm about to be 38 and I can't imagine not going to the movies. Yes, you're our age.
That's Yeah. I mean, if you have a good theater, you like to go back to. Like I've
But
had a lot of bad experiences with theaters recently, so it's kind of jaded me. But
but
yeah,
that's the
I would stick with it, man.
but that's the problem though, is because our time will end at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's and all that stuff is going to die with us, because yeah, we're gonna hold on to it for as long as we can because that's what we've known. But your kids and kids' kids, it's just gonna be a different thing, you
Yep.
know. And now you have like now you have like Apple in the game trying to sell you a $10,000 like VR
I
goggles
thought
to
it
watch
was
your movies.
$3,000, wasn't it?
It is. I'm just being,
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'm
it's
embellishing
ridiculous.
it.
It's
It's almost
ridiculous,
like
man.
almost 4 grand, and they're trying to innovate how you watch content and stuff like that. But who knows? Technology gets more affordable as time goes on. Maybe that will be the thing. Maybe
You
that'll
know,
just
I would do it for like sporting events. Like, I want to watch. I'm a huge NFL guy, so I'd watch NFL for all day Sunday with those things on. That'd be cool. But other
wouldn't it
than
be
that, I wouldn't
wild
watch it.
that to where it makes you feel like you're on the 50-yard line or something like that?
Yeah, I'm sure they do
What
that. They
what
would
if it
do that.
got so good to where
Don't be
like
in the stands.
no, wouldn't it be so, what if it got so good to where like let's say they put out another Blade Runner movie to where you could literally be in the movie. Like you could watch the movie from within the movie. Like would it be that good to where it's like I feel like I'm in the surround, like I'm in this room with Deckard, right?
That made me kind of sick. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Well, I think that'll come with technology fixing that,
Yeah.
and the motion sickness and all that stuff and how that works. I think that'll get tweaked as time
Like a
goes on too.
concert too. Concerts would be awesome. You can sit there like, oh, I'm gonna go to the Metallica concert
But
tonight.
guess what?
Throw those
We would
things
never
on.
have real concerts ever again. You
Yeah,
know,
and we're gonna have sporting events, real sporting events ever again.
it's so funny because all the shit I'm harping about is like the stuff that I always loved in the movies.
It's
Like
gonna happen though.
you watch The Sixth Day and you see Remy like with the chick, oh, the virtual reality chick. It's like all this
Well,
stuff,
it's either gonna be pre-recorded or it's gonna be AI. So I mean, Metallica's not even performing; it's gonna be AI. So they're
which is
selling their
wild.
rights to play.
Well, they're not, but
Or
that in theory, yeah, you're gonna have people that are gonna be selling their likeness and all that stuff, and yeah, I mean, I could see that 100% being a thing. And to a degree, they've dipped their toes in that a little bit with these like online concerts where it's like Fortnite. It's within like gaming world, gaming verses and stuff like
yeah,
that. And yeah, it's just another step into it. The last bit of news I want to talk about is the Expendables 4 trailer.
oh,
Speaking of movies, maybe AI will help that because
it looks like
I
it's CGI
look.
so
Let me tell
bad.
you, I don't. Yeah, what is with this, man? We're filming on a beach. We're filming on a desert. We're filming here. Yet we're not. It's everything. These movies especially look like just green screens. They look
They're all in
terrible.
front of a green screen, man.
They're terrible. They look so bad.
Oh
The first one looks real bad. The second one didn't. The
no,
second
no.
one, the second
I
one was like,
enjoyed the first two were enjoyable, man. I enjoyed those
but
a
the
lot.
first one shows its budget, man, because it looks like there's a
Yeah,
lot of weird grease. But the second one was all on location in Bulgaria, and it was just, it looked like a real movie. That's why the second one's the best. But this one's going back to that first one. It's like, what is this? And then maybe the movie will be fine, but dude, that was a bad trailer. That
terrible.
we could say that. Like, what was the movie even about? Oh,
Megan Fox and
Jason
Jason
Statham.
Statham.
Jason Statham is with Megan Fox now, and now suddenly she's in the Expendables, and we see like clips of them all like working together.
Yeah,
And I'm like, first
50
of all, Megan,
Cent. Don't shoot me in the face.
oh,
God,
stupid,
it's so bad. Dude.
dude. I want to know what 50 Cent has on Stallone to where Stallone keeps putting him in all his movies.
I didn't even know he's an action star. I've never seen
They're
50 Cent in a
trying. They're
movie.
trying to make him look. He keeps showing up in Sylvester Stallone movies. He's been in the Skate Plan movies. He's in all those shitty movies. And
DMX is probably a better action star than 50 Cent.
oh god, Exit
And I
Wounds,
think he's
dude.
dead, isn't he?
Yeah, Exit Wounds is not a good movie. But anyway, I don't.
Nah, but he's still
It's not gonna happen. And just yeah, 50 Cent. Dude, it's like I cannot take this seriously. And I don't know what the movie's about. I mean, it's obvious Sylvester Stallone's gonna be in it for like 10 minutes because he's even got the and Sylvester Stallone tag at the end. And I was following him on Instagram. Like it was apparent that he only filmed a couple of scenes or he only filmed for like a few days.
yeah.
And it's really Jason Statham's movie, which is fine. I mean, there's a lot of movies that are just Jason Statham movies that are good. So he could carry a decent movie. I'm just saying that this movie doesn't. The trailer looks like shit. It didn't sell you anything. It didn't feel like Expendables. Like it's like talk
No.
because these movies were. I mean, the third one's terrible, but still, up until the third one, they were all about upping the ante with action stars and cast members. And they got so bloated, and that wasn't always like a good thing. So that's what I'm saying. This might be a good movie. You never know. But
Well, you want to kind of break the trailer down? You want me to play it with no sound?
I mean, you can go ahead and put it up.
Or do you think we'll get flagged for that?
Nah, just no sound, no sound.
Yeah, yeah.
Just go and pull it up. But yeah, it's like, that's they were marketing off like, hey, we got all these action stars. And up into the third one, they were getting bigger and bigger with like Wesley Snipes and everybody. And now, who do we have in this one? Jason Statham. Granted, Tony Jaa and the guy from the Raid, those guys are really cool, but they're not names.
No, they're not
They're
action
not.
like
And you have Dolph Lundgren still, and you have Randy Couture, like and Megan Fox. Like what is this? How neutered this has gotten. All right, so let's check this out. Yeah, sound. Okay.
you ready
Yeah.
for it?
Yeah, let's watch it. I'm
Okay.
watching it.
Jason
Okay,
Statham.
honey, I'm
Fox.
home type of thing. Doesn't look like an Expendables movie yet. Some
I'm
relationships, like yeah, they're putting a heavy focus on their relationship. I knew our built to I knew it was going to be Jason Statham's vehicle, but why are we throwing Megan Fox in here?
I mean,
She's look at this. What who
it
does
could be
this
her.
in their spare
It could be
time?
his daughter, right? I mean,
No. He called her like honey or whatever. Yeah, you don't do that with your daughter.
No,
I
I
guess
mean he's pretty old compared to her, isn't he?
his
Maybe
real
not.
life wife is fucking like 25,
Oh, never mind.
right? I mean, just I don't. We don't know. I mean, I already read that Andy Garcia is the villain, but you don't get any of that from the trailer.
Oh, Dolph Lundgren. Oh, yeah. I have a
The
prescription. I
the
have a
bifocal
prescription
jokes.
site. Yeah,
So
terrible, dude. It was
like,
charming in the first one, but it's overplayed, man.
look, Andy Garcia is gonna be the villain, which might, by the way, is a massive step down. Look how bad this looks.
Oh, this looks like Escape Plan 2. That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
That's shitty.
that's really bad. But look, I said
Oh,
that
look,
the
green screen, dude. Oh,
You know what it looks like? This looks like Fast and the Furious action.
but
I just
bad CGI. It's
Yeah, bad
terrible.
CGI with that motorcycle flying 200 feet in the air. It's unrealistic. Look, I'm not saying it might not be a fun time, but I don't know.
No.
They're not selling me on it. At least with the look at how bad that looked. Did you see that background
Yeah,
behind 50
yeah.
Cent? Oh,
There's
look
no
at this
background.
great.
It's green screen.
Is this the Battleship movie with Rihanna? What was that? Look now, stuff like that will be cool, like,
Yeah.
but look at this. Oh, Randy
Randy
Couture
Couture. Why?
and yeah, look at all these big stars.
Tran. I don't know who these people
Yeah.
are.
So I don't know what that movie was trying to sell. Let's get rid of that.
Yep.
But it wasn't doing anything for me. They're obviously trying to carry on the franchise into a new generation. And Statham, he kind of has the most star power as far as all those guys that have ever been in this
Put
movie.
John Wick in there, man, or something.
They couldn't afford him.
I know, but I mean, still, I mean, he's the action right now. I mean, he's the action star.
So anyway, I'm not excited about it. It comes out on my birthday. Who
Oh,
knows?
I was hoping we can go see that when I'm in town, man.
Yeah, it's not out yet. But hey, Sean Boyle, let's backtrack. He wants to talk about this is he says the writer's strike will definitely impact things in California work wise for me. I'm in the entertainment special effects industry, and I remember the big CGI scare. But as long as we have companies like A24, we'll have practical effects, real sets, locations, and hands on real work. Artists want to create, make the intangible tangible. Um, by the way, Sean Boyle, I didn't know you did that shit. We should talk.
We should bring you on a show and we could talk about AI, Sean. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I would like to talk about the special effects stuff, dude. I would like to just talk to you about the bullshit I'm going through right now with my filmmaking process. But no, that's really cool. We should chat. But it's interesting because you're right. We always kind of find a way. I think we'll move on. It'll just evolve.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
people who don't embrace it or hold on to the moving train are gonna left to be fossilized, and they're gonna
yep.
left for. It's just the way it is. So you kind of have to adapt. I still hope Hollywood just eats itself. I felt like the last 10 years, I felt like we were bubbling over, like we're almost due for a reset because things have been getting so fucking ridiculous to where it's like, look, I'm not trying to go on and on about like people shouldn't have equal rights. Of course, people should have equal rights, but the pandering. Anybody out there, I don't care what color you are, what religion, what orientation, I don't give a shit. You should find it kind of offensive at the pandering that sometime
Oh, it's
there's
pure
doing something,
propaganda a lot of the
there's
times.
doing stuff with authenticity, and there's doing stuff purely for money.
Yep.
Um, not to get political or stuff like that, but do you really think Target gives a shit about you or your rights, or do you think they care about your money? Do you think they've turned Pride Month into another Christmas holiday to exploit? Right? It's
Yeah.
all money. And so now we have the thing with the Oscars. If you guys saw that, which it's a joke. The Oscars are a joke, Hollywood's a joke. Um and now they're going to implement the new rules, right? With the Academy Awards where you have to meet all this criteria if you even want to be nominated for best picture. And I don't remember all of it, but like basically you have to have at least like one LGBTQ plus character or actor. Your story has to be centered around like LGBT quote, or it has to be about have these minorities accounted for. Look, I already knew this stuff happened, right? Stuff like the
Mm.
Academy Awards is political. Look, hashtag Oscars so white, when Jada Pinkett Smith and all that boycotted that one year a few years ago. What happened? The next year, they made sure like all the winners of the big categories were black. They've always done that. It's always been a political tool. You have to submit your film. You exchange a lot of money around to campaign your movie to get that big prize. It's all stupid bullshit anyway. I'm just so shocked that they're so transparent about it now.
Well, and
And
that's why I like the independent filmmakers. I like when they're political because it's not like they're not coming from like some big agenda where they're getting paid to be political, if that makes sense.
look,
Like,
you
I don't know.
yeah, no, this stuff can come from a place of authenticity.
Yeah, yeah.
But it should be so alarmingly annoying to people when it clearly doesn't in a lot of these cases. Um, and I think now hopefully this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back with this, because we're going to get a few years of people really making Oscar bait movies, really pandering, um, doing all this stuff just for the sake of trophies and money. And I would think it would be offensive if
I'm
I was a certain type of person. I would just think it was offensive. Um, but
I'm curious about this writer strike though. Are writers still able to write for independent cinema then, like, and not for the SAG? So would they get out of the SAG to actually write independent movies? Because that would be awesome because then we'd actually see some decent films, I think.
I hope after a few years of what they're doing, just a few, like I said, it keeps. I think it's going to tip over, man. I really want
Because
you're
The good thing about COVID is there were so many good movies that came out for independent films during
look,
COVID.
the true colors are going to be shown, right? So in a few years, hopefully, people will start taking the Oscars even less serious than they already do with all this shit. And it's gonna get their viewership is gonna get narrowed down so much to where it's literally just them talking to themselves in their little ecosystem, their little
Hmm.
echo chamber, that people are gonna stop watching the Oscars. Weren't the Oscars like the ratings? Aren't they dipping like every year?
Yeah, I don't think people are watching
People
anymore.
are gonna take them less and less seriously to where the Oscars will go, they'll follow the money. You'll see where people's fucking allegiance lies, and they'll shake things up. Right? If the next thing, I guarantee you, if being racist was in vogue and that's where the money was at, and the majority of the country was racist, and the majority of those people are what was funding the big machine, they're gonna go back to the way it was in old decades and give you Song of the South. They're gonna give you whatever is buying, whatever is selling.
Yeah, it's all about money, man. It's
and and
crazy.
and people are looking to all these celebrities and movie studios and just as if they're like some kind of deity of
Yeah,
like
I,
uh, of righteousness, and I just
the
don't understand.
the writers should be getting all the money, man. I think they're owed whatever they want.
A
They're the
hundred
ones who
percent,
making the movies, man. I
dude.
mean,
Yeah, Sean. How many times have we all been told it's the end of the world? We'll carry on, and yes, people pay people what they're owed. A hundred
yeah,
percent.
yeah,
A
absolutely.
hundred, 100%. And it's just, it sucks because yeah, the writers are the first line of defense. It comes from our brains, and it takes hours and hours and hours sometimes to really put together something brilliant and good or worth the shit. And it's gonna be the first thing to be replaced. But and it's definitely the first thing that's devalued. Right? It's bullshit that
Yeah,
people have to strike.
yeah. And billionaire Hollywood keeps getting more money, and then the writers keep
You
getting
have
screwed
these
over.
writers that think about these variety shows and these talk shows and these shows that have to go on week after week.
Yep.
You have all these writers in a room. It's their full-time jobs to make the next episode of like whatever taping of the Jimmy Fallon show happen. Dude, why are these people undervalued? You
Yeah,
literally,
exactly.
it is the foundation. Literally, none of this house can stand if you don't have the foundation.
Yeah.
Everybody's valued, but I'm sorry, the cameramen don't have jobs without the idea and the
Yep.
writing. The host who's taking home all the money, the producers who are taking home the lion's share, have nothing
That's
without the
right.
creative foundation. So it's really shit that everybody's devalued like this, because that's where my heart is, man. If I could do anything in the world, it'd be right. I think writing is the best thing in the world.
Absolutely, man.
And
What do you think this whole show is based on? I mean, it's creative about creative people, filmmakers, writers, directors. It's not about fucking Disney or Paramount. The big company. Who gives a shit about that?
It's just it sucks. Yeah, people will evolve. I just hope we find a way to embrace it to where it keeps it fair. I hope there's no casualties. I hope writers can still exist. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know the industry will evolve and carry on. It's
Yeah.
just who's going to be left by the wayside, who's going to be collateral damage when it's all done. Um, I hope that's not the case. But anyway, Hollywood sucks, man. I hope we have this real. I mean, we kind of already have had like this weird resurgence of an indie scene the last
Yeah.
decade,
Hmm.
right? With some of these studios.
Yeah.
Um, but you know what? Even Big Daddy A24 sucking at that teat. Even they had their taste, right? They had everything all at once, and they had it win all the prizes at the Oscars, and it made a shit ton of money. That's kind of. I'd be interested to see where they go from here. I'm not saying everything everywhere
There's
is
a
bad.
there's a demand for independent cinema right
I
now, I
wouldn't say
think.
everything everywhere is bad or anything like that, but this will be the real test of where
Yeah.
they go from here after they had that kind of success with that movie, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. It's
are they
huge for them.
still,
Yeah.
are they still going to stay where
I
they
hope so,
were,
man.
or are they at least going to siphon and trickle down that money to still pump out those other movies, right? And while venturing off into bigger stuff. I don't know, but
What I mean, what do they need to go bigger for? I mean, they won, the Oscar for what? Best film, right?
yeah, or whatever. They want almost everything, but um,
I don't know. I think they're doing a great job. So, yeah. Hopefully more pop up just like A24.
you know what's funny is we had another topic for the show that we're going to talk about, but I feel like we still have to do our last segment. Do we really have time? Maybe we do. Did you come up with any selections for speaking of physical media and all this stuff? I thought it'd be a cool idea to come up with a small list of movies that are not on 4K that we want on 4K that we think would benefit, especially from the treatment. Because maybe not every movie would benefit, but if you can justify why you think it would benefit from a 4K treatment, I didn't. I have a relatively small list. I don't think we have to
Let's
spend forever on it.
Do you want to save that list till next week and I can come up with a big list? And we can get into test your might.
All right. Well, yeah, test your might. It's just
Well, no, cuz
test your might is this new segment where Todd and I jerk off on cam so you can come first.
I say that every week. I screw it up every week.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Let's
We'll
do that
save
because
it.
we can keep a bigger topic. Because I do have a lot, but I liked where our flow was with whole AI, the whole writer strike, and everything like
We'll
that.
save it.
So
I've got a lot of because that'll be a fun topic too. I
yeah,
got a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk about as far as stuff that we haven't got released for. Um, but yeah. With that said,
because
let's go into
I can go on forever on that stuff.
our final segment. We're gonna go into choose your destiny. All right.
Choose your
So
destiny.
I'm going to once again, eventually, I'm going to stop explaining these segments because they're not going to be new anymore. But the second segment that we're doing here, we're going to flip flop. I do 1 week, Todd does 1 week, and so on and so forth. And we basically are picking two things. It's basically like playing this or that, and they're going to be related somehow, right? They don't have to be directly related. They have to have some connection. For example, the first week I did Kelly Kapowski or Kelly Bundy, right? Battle of the Kellys, both pinups. You get the gist. Um, I think we should make a conscious effort to really change it up every week. Like
Yeah,
last week, Todd did
the
girls
real
again,
the real girl next door.
which is good. But like, let's make a conscious effort. Like this one, you'll see, it's totally different. So
Okay.
like, whatever I do, try and be totally different next week. But let me
Yep.
go ahead and pull up. Um, and I don't know. Hopefully, you guys can follow along because some of this stuff's gonna be a little niche. Like for all I know, we're talking about AI, we're talking about movies. Maybe you're not into what I bring to the table, but this one's about me and Todd. But if you guys have a say, we want to hear about it. So, all right. So let me go ahead and pull it up.
And
Boom.
maybe Patreon members or on the Revival House can throw in their ideas and we can go back and forth with some of their stuff too.
All right. So, Todd, on this week's edition of Choose Your Destiny, this one is very hard for me.
Okay.
And remember, we're not going to ask you to. We're not expecting anybody to simply give a yay or nay, this or that. You need to tell us. We're going to be expected to explain our answers and really, really justify why we gave those answers. So, Todd, this week I'm going to ask the ultimate question: Down Nola or Far Beyond Driven? Now, the connection, obviously, if you guys aren't savvy with music, they're both Phil Anselmo fronted bands. So he sings for both these bands and both these records. And in my opinion, Far Beyond Driven is the best Pantera record, and Down is the best Down Nola's the best Down record, and these are both. And if we're just talking about Phil Anselmo, like forget the many bands he's in, these are right at the top as far as just his best albums. Like I will put Down Nola definitely above most even Pantera records, but this is where it gets tough. Down Nola or Far Beyond Driven. So Todd, I want
Okay.
you to give
I
me
have two different answers.
no. That's not how it works. There's two options. You can't give me two answers.
Okay,
You,
okay,
you
okay,
ninny.
okay.
You got to give me
No,
one.
no, let me explain myself though. Let me explain myself.
Oh, Max late to the party. Max in the chat. He's like MK1 trailer looks so good. We already talked about that, man.
Yeah,
That's so old
rewind this
news.
shit.
No, but we'll talk about that in private, dude. I think it looks awesome. But anyway, Down Nola or Far Beyond Driven. You have to give me one definitive answer because believe me, I want to pick both too, but I can't. And you have to tell me why. Why want go?
Okay, so this is very tough for me because I
Me
am
too.
such a huge Down and Pantera fan. I know Down doesn't have the catalog of Pantera, but that really doesn't matter to me. The
Well,
first the first two Down albums
yeah,
are fantastic.
it doesn't get hard for all of them. Like you could make a case for the first two Down records, but like I'm not going to throw Down 3 or the 4 EPs up against anything Pantera, for example, right? And you know, like I said, it's this particular combination.
This is very very
If
unique,
I was
good
ranking
good thing. Yeah.
if I was ranking just hey top Phil and Selmo albums, these are at the
Don't
top two
yeah.
spots. So it's like that's it.
Okay. Here's what I think. As it stands today, 2023, I would go with Down Nola
Tell me
because
why.
I something about the sound of this album. I think it was what produced back in 1995. Phil's screams sound awesome in this, and it's just the whole southern rock vibe, metal. It just works for me now that I'm getting older. Does that makes sense? Pantera Far Beyond Driven is fantastic. It's the best Pantera album. I agree.
And in similar years too, 94 and 95. So
94, 95.
Phil screams are just in top form on this
But
too.
it's basically how you ingest music. And me personally, I ingest music on my turntable, but mostly I ingest it in my car when I'm driving around. And Down Nola is a fantastic ride, man, while you're driving. So that's why I would pick Down Nola, even though Far Beyond Driven is fantastic. I love it. I don't know, something about Nola. It just, I don't know. It just gels a lot better for me than Far Beyond Driven.
Okay. There's no wrong answer here because they're both awesome. But Far Beyond Driven, let me start by saying one of the albums of my teenage years. It was not my first Pantera album, but it's the one that really got me into him. I Vulgar was the first one I heard and everything, but this is the one that really got me into him. And when I listen to this album, it takes me back. Sonically, it kicks you in the nuts. It sounds so great to this day. Um, and it's just got the jams. And it's so insanely hard. But then you have Nola, which I also got as well in my teenage years. And it represents something different. I don't think any other Down album would have a chance against Far Beyond Driven. Not even
No,
Down 2.
not
I love
no.
Down 2. I love Down 2. But to
Yeah,
me
it doesn't.
it's
Yeah,
still an easy decision there. But I really had to God, man, Dimebag's tone on this record is so amazing.
it's great.
But if I really have to I have to get it down to the nitty gritty. And for me, I think it's just down to, you know what? I'm just going to call it, even though it's part of the album and I can't imagine it not being there. So because of the nostalgia, I wouldn't change it and I still listen to it. But I think push comes to shove. This one has Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills, which isn't like a real song.
Yeah,
And as much as I love their cover of Planet Caravan, this has a cover. So I'm like, I'm just trying to find ways to
yeah.
take away points. And with that said, I could see how you're not gonna play Good Friend and Bottle of Pills live. It's like a seg track.
Yeah.
Every track on Nola can be played live, and I've heard just about every track on Nola played live. Every track on this is absolutely flawless. But like I said, I think Far Beyond Driven is a flawless masterpiece too. But I got to go down Nola, man. I think
Yep.
I, I love how chunky and in your face and stuff Far Beyond Driven sounds. Like it sounds insane. I can only imagine what this sounded like putting it in your stereo back in 1994. But Nola, it sounds like a really, really high end demo.
It's
All right.
it it's
It's
more of
crit,
this. It has the southern. It has more of the southern rock,
but
southern
but
metal
but
tone than Far Beyond Driven.
it's got a real sludgy
Yeah.
flat production. It sounds like they're in where they recorded this in Phil's shed, his recording shed.
Yeah.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it's a garage album, right?
Hmm.
And I don't think they really captured this as well on the future records, but this one
Yep.
sounds like they're just jamming in a room all together. And it's dirty. It's not perfect, but it is. It's sludgy. Um, Yeah, I mean, so I'm gonna go down Nola as well. This is one of the greatest albums of all time. This is
Yeah.
top 10, easy for me. Um, yeah, so we both agreed.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know why I consider it more of a more boomerish than like a Pantera. Um, Down would be because I don't know, just the sound with Pepper Keenan and everything. It's just it sounds like a more mature Pantera, if that makes sense.
It no, it doesn't at all. It's just showing the Black Sabbath influence and shit like that. It's just showing their Zeppelin, their Sabbath influence a lot heavier. It's more retro guard a little bit, right? And I love the instrumental stuff like Jail, right?
Yeah.
And I love all the stuff. It's no, it's just they're wearing their influences more on their sleeve.
Yeah.
It's like I think like this was going to appeal to your dad more than Pantera,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, you can hear the Zeppelin vibe, you can hear the Black Sabbath, you can hear all
Yeah.
the stuff, and yeah, you can even hear like the Skinner. You listen to Stone the
Hmm.
Crow, and you got those Southern licks. And at the time, it's like yeah, this does kind of mellow it down from where Pantera was at the time, right?
Yeah.
It's like think about the stuff that they were screaming about on Far Beyond Driven, and now you have like these moments like Jail or Stone the Crow is like kind of a sing along Southern ballad. It's just like
And Phil sounds amazing on this album, man.
he sounds absolutely fantastic. And, he was riding off the Pantera success with this album. This album came out in 95 and it went
Yeah.
gold. It went
Mm.
gold because this was Pantera at their peak. And he had Down ever since 92. If you look at the video for This Love from Vulgar, which was 1992, Phil's wearing a Down t-shirt
Hmm.
because
Okay.
they had a demo in the early 90s with some of
Hmm.
these songs, right? So they were around. But
Did you ever see Down in concert? I always wanted to.
oh yeah, I've seen them at least 3 or 4 times.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I
How
saw
are
them.
they? Were they pretty kick ass or what?
Well, they were. It wasn't always the same. So like the first time I saw them was the best. I saw them on Down Three Over the Under. I saw them on that tour. They
Hmm.
played Springfield, Missouri, where I was living at the time. They played a little hole in the wall club, a bar, a hole in the wall bar, and they had no opener. They played for it was not an all ages show because it was a bar. They played well past curfew. They played 3 hours at least, and it was amazing because they
That'd
had the
be
three
awesome,
record.
man.
They played almost every song in their catalog at the point because they had the three
Yeah.
albums at the time. They played almost every song. Like maybe they played the entire Nola. They played almost maybe all but one song off Down Two, and they played almost all songs except for like one on Down Three. They played everything. They played 3 hours and played the entire three, and it was incredible. And something about being in that just like smoky little bar. And Phil was real healthy. Down Three
Yeah.
came out. Phil was real thin. And he has like kind of like long like mid length hair,
Hmm.
and sounded amazing. He was on it, man. And Rex Brown was in the band at the time. He didn't leave yet because he ended up leaving and getting
Hmm.
replaced. It was just peak. It was awesome. I saw him again. I saw him open for Metallica on the Death Magnetic tour, which that was fine. It was just a different vibe. It's a big empty stadium because they're the opener, the direct
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
So, or it's an arena. So, the house lights are on. Most of the seats around them are empty because people are getting beers and taking a piss. And they're on like a round stage. So it didn't really feel like a down show. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So not that's not to slight them. And then I saw him. I saw him in Hollywood at the Key Club on the Strip, and that was on Down Four. And to me, these were just weak years for Phil.
Yeah, down
He was
four
really
sucks.
he was just really out of shape. He had lost his scream.
Hmm.
And Down Four, he's not screaming at all. He kind of
Yeah,
ditched it, and the songs are a little too sludgy and little.
yeah,
They're not as exciting.
boring. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, and then Rex wasn't in the band anymore. It was just yeah, it wasn't as good. Because Phil just he was fat and fucking just not hitting them notes, man. It suffered. So maybe I've seen him another time. I'm having trouble remembering, but I want to say maybe even I saw him a fourth time. But that nothing's gonna beat that first time. I think it would have been in '06.
oh,
Just
okay,
on
okay.
fire. And like I said, it dude, how many people there was probably a couple hundred people there, maybe 200. And like I said, it was a bar. Most people were just like sitting at the bar, really little floor. And just how many people, I mean, I guess I answer my own question, a couple hundred, are really going to be talking about, oh, yeah, down. They played 3 hours until like 2 in the morning in Springfield, Missouri on a weekday. It's just kind of such a
Yeah.
niche, kind of like obscure show.
Hmm.
And like I said, in the evening with Down, awesome. Awesome, man. So yeah, I'm going to go down NOLA too. I'm gonna ask. I want to know Pat. I wish Pat would do a show like this so I could ask Pat this question.
Yeah, I'd love to ask him
I
about it.
would love it. We might have to ask him in our private chat, like because
Yeah.
I took a picture, like, hey, which one? But all right, so we're gonna wrap it up there. Mendoza, yeah, you got to go, man. I feel you, bro. Down Terra, far beyond NOLA. But we're gonna wrap it up here. This is a lot of fun. Good conversation today. Hey,
Absolutely.
Sean Boyle, I'm dead serious, man. Why don't you hit us up?
Yeah.
Because he said he liked the idea. I think he was responding
I'd
to
love to hear
doing
about it.
something with us. So I don't know which socials you're on with us, man. I don't know if you're on the Discord or not, but shoot us an IM on whatever you follow us on, and I'll respond to you, and we'll chat. But anyway, thank you guys so much. What a fun episode 43. Next week we're going to
Yeah.
talk about the movies that we want to see on 4K that still haven't, and who
Yeah.
knows, maybe they never will be because we're on the last legs of physical media.
Yep.
And make sure if you're new, please help us out with the algos. Please like the video, leave a comment, interact with it, and check out all the other shows we got. We got a million different shows. I mean, it's hard to keep track anymore. Commentaries, tier list videos, all kinds of crap. If you want to support us, you can throw us a couple bucks a month on our Patreon. All that stuff's linked below. Get early access. Of course, follow us on fucking Twitch. Follow us on podcast services, even though this show is not on podcast services. Every other show is iTunes or wherever you get that stuff.
Rumble
Spotify.
people. Yeah, we're streaming
Yeah,
on there
and
now.
and we just got a Rumble, which by the way, just so Todd knows, since Rumble's not integrated with this platform yet, we have to add it as a manual. It doesn't show Rumble comments. It will not show Rumble comments in
Okay.
this.
Yeah, I did test that out a little bit ago, so
So
I'll have to figure that out.
we'll just have to keep Rumble up separately
Okay, I have it up. So yeah.
until they integrate. I think it won't be for too long. They'll integrate Rumble into this. There's just no way. It's
Yeah.
getting too big. So, but anyway, follow us on Rumble too, right? Uh, get your political fix and I guess listen to us. I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I do, man.
I don't know. All right, guys. Catch you later. Bye bye.
Later.